As I begin to prepare for my first round of college final exams, I find it unsurprising that 87% of college students surveyed in a 2012 Higher Education Research Institute study listed getting a better job as a very important factor in their decision to attend college. See, no one is putting up with this much stress or this heavy of a workload for fun. And honestly, the idea that someone would do it simply to better themselves seems a little disingenuous. No, most of us are putting up with our current stress to ensure future comfortability. There's no two ways about it. Most of us are here right now because at some point in the future we'd like to lead prosperous careers and be able to provide for our families. There's no shame in that, but it does mean that college students should take an active interest in addressing our future employers' wishes. And 93% of employers surveyed by Hart Research Associates agreed that a potential employee's critical thinking, communication, and problem-solving skills were more important than their undergraduate major. And many agreed that these skills were as important as an applicant's GPA. This means that you could major in something impertinent to the field that you're applying for and get only decent grades and still be a viable employee in the eyes of many employers, so long as you have those skills. Educational titans like Dewey and Cronin have made careers out of elucidating the ways that these skills can be cultivated. Through discussion, collaboration, and connection, all in the democratic spirit that each citizen might have the capacity to make contributions that are worthwhile, and that all involved parties are bettered simply through exposure to one another. Still, these skills are largely neglected and absent from the average college experience, leaving many students to pursue personal and social development on their own. Attempting to develop these skills can be quite daunting. Many college students are aware, on at least some level, that they should try to experience the diversity that's present at their school, but beginning this process can be intimidating. This is reflected by a PRRI study that found that 3 out of 4 white people have a social network composed solely of other white people. Interestingly, this study did not define a social network the way that you or I might. They weren't concerned with Facebook friends or Twitter followers. This study defined a social network as being the group of people that someone shares intimate details and discusses important issues with. This means that 75% of Caucasians are having legitimate, thoughtful discussion solely with people who share a similar ethnic background to them. This is problematic because people who are similar to you are less likely to stimulate the development of interpersonal and social skills than people different from you are. And so, in order to glean the most personal and social development from their experience, college students should try to discuss important issues openly with a diverse group. It's simply not challenging to communicate with people you share a common cultural background with. These people use the same colloquialisms and the same language that you do. They make similar assumptions about etiquette and are prone to need help resolving problems that are familiar to you. In fact, left to their own devices, it's not implausible or even uncommon for students to surround themselves with people who communicate similarly to the way they do, and so to learn and practice only one style of communication. This will likely be grossly inadequate when these students join the workforce and are expected to communicate with coworkers and clients who share a plethora of cultural and educational backgrounds. Similarly, it's less challenging to collaborate with people who are similar to you than it is to collaborate with people who look and act differently than you do. Methods of constructing roles within a team often vary with economic background, cultural influences, and even life experience. An athlete from an Asian culture that's more focused on family and community is simply going to have different ideas about how a team should work and function than a musician from a Western culture that's more individualistic. And these kinds of diversity may not naturally occur in the social circles of students who aren't conscious of how they select their conversational partners. We like to be surrounded by people who are similar to us, and this isn't negative in and of itself, but the collaboration that will foster skills so desired by our future employers is only developed through practice. An engineer who can only collaborate with other engineers, despite their likely considerable skill, cannot easily be utilized in the workplace. Finally, perhaps most obviously, it's difficult to connect to those who are different than you. I mean this not as discouragement, but as a simple statement of fact. People from different cultures are raised on different legends and myths, influencing their values and what traits they find admirable. In fact, different cultures can vary on concepts as integral to one's life as definitions of beauty and determinants of success. Despite the difficulties that these differences might create, connecting with a variety of people has distinct benefits that should not be ignored. These connections can be enlightening and expand an individual's capacity for problem solving and critical thinking in a way that should be pleasurable for the individual while simultaneously making them better suited for their work life. And so, my overarching argument and imploration is this. College students, take advantage of the opportunity you've been given. Discuss issues that are important to you with people that will take you a little outside your comfort zone. These discussions will enrich your life, not just intangibly, but in ways that employers say they are actively searching for. Collaborate with one another on projects that you find motivating. These projects will be the most valuable form of job training you could have asked for, because in these projects you will develop the social and interpersonal skills that will help you inside the office and out. And finally, in all things, take care to be authentic. It will always feel fabricated to sit down across the table from someone who has a visual difference from you and ask them how this difference has affected their life experience. However, if you're willing to start an honest and respectful conversation with something that you're passionate about, the complex attitudes of all involved might quickly come to the surface. And if you're one of the college students who is here to supplement their chances of getting a job, this might be the most productive thing that you could have done.